Footballers, welcome back to another episode of Spitting Fire. Jeffrey and James here with you as always. And today, guys, we're going to talk a little transfer window. So the transfer window is closing soon. So I think that's where we're going to start. James, when is this transfer window closing?
If you're watching this today on April 30th, April 30th?
Yep.
It closes tomorrow, May 1st.
Soon, very soon.
Very soon. So within 24 hours, we're going to see the shut of the transfer window. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to see it go because the closer it comes, I'm growing more worried that a mistake, a silly, nonsensical mistake that could have been made 3 months ago, and would not be a mistake. Mm-hmm. But the closer that the window comes to close right now, the closer it would be a mistake. Bring in Lee Nguyen right now for the tune of $750,000.
Gadzooks. It sounds like they want Gadzooks for him.
$750,000 in Cam. They want $1 million in Cam. They want the equivalent of David Akam, who was a 27-year-old Ghanaian winger, amazing, who was way better than Lee Nguyen at his peak. And David Akam was only still 27 and worth way more on the transfer market. And they are trying to get the equivalent of that for Lee Nguyen.
I mean, if you were going to...
For a player who hasn't played a single game.
If you were going to overpay, if you were going to overpay, I'd rather that be in the beginning of the season when you can bring them in during preseason and you can work them in and you can get them for, all the match fixtures. Mm-hmm. It might be a little late to overpay. So
if you're paying $750K for 31-year-old Lee Nguyen, you paid $400K for a 30-year-old Dax McCarty. And he is so much better of a player. Better value than anything Lee Nguyen's going to bring you. In fact, Lee Nguyen is a number 10. He is a number 10, the vaunted number 10 that we've so desired.
He produced last year. But he's still produced, even though he's an older fella.
Yes, correct. But he's actually more of a winger than that creative playmaking dynamo.
Well, yeah, if you want to talk X's and O's and go into what type of Cam he is he that creative, is he that true creative build-up Cam? No, he's more of that small places, going to help you build out, and can score, right? So he's more, shadow, what is it called? False 90?
False 9,
shadow striker. I mean,
he's a better fit than a lot of the other rumors.
Oh, I would still take him in a heartbeat, but he's still not that true. I would still take him, but for that price,
no,
I wouldn't take him for that price. But I definitely don't think is he the perfect 10 for us? No, but is he a 10? Yes.
Would he help? And But it would essentially be going backwards to have traded David Akam just to bring in Lee Nguyen. It doesn't make a lick of sense. And on a general management standpoint, it is backwards. You've not helped your team get better. You've gotten worse. Another question would be, if not Lee Nguyen tomorrow, then who? If it's not Lee Nguyen by tomorrow, Lee Nguyen's probably not happening at all, which I hope so. If he does come later in the window in July, he has to be at such a cut rate.
Cheaper.
It has to be at that $250K rate that I quoted at. Because to me, he's not worth more than Dax. If you're paying more money for him than you paid for Dax, you're making the wrong choice.
And that goes to your point. That's why you're scared. That's why you almost don't want any transfers. I mean,
and they wasted money on Chani. What a great signing that's been. Another waste when they have so many midfielders that they couldn't even get to Mo Adams by doing that. Great job, Nelson.
What else? What's the other names?
Iker Casillas, so he could set behind your 22-year-old goalkeeper. So you can make your goalkeeper set back. So let's bring in a 36-year-old Iker Casillas. Okay, I'm getting a little too negative here. We might have to reset this.
I definitely don't think the Iker Casillas move is as pressing as the other moves. Richard Sanchez, he's had some moments, still has a bit of the yips when the ball's at his feet. But I don't think we need to use resources on Iker Casillas.
I could stamp that as a certified waste of money.
We need wingers. We need a Cam. And we might need a center back. I mean, I would really rather have those three positions before a goalie.
So even when you want to bring in an international signing, you have to bring in something called the international slot.
Yeah.
Right now, supposedly the going rate for an international slot is at least $200K in TAM/GAM. That's because there's only 6 spots left for all of MLS for the entire rest of the season. And unless any new guys in MLS, throughout MLS, are going to get green cards to open up some spots, those prices are only going to go up for those international spots as the likes of, say, a Fernando Torres comes over here. So...
Man, something interesting. So you just popped out that name, Fernando Torres. Someone on Twitter said, it would be really interesting if you brought Fernando Torres and can you convert him into a 10? No.
No.
No. Fernando Torres has scored gore. He's scored goals his whole life. He didn't create goals.
Hey, he created some.
He created
could
goals.
be a link.
Oh, he's not a true Wayne Rooney.
Correct.
Right? There's a transfer rumor.
That he's not yet.
He's not Wayne Rooney. He hasn't really been linked to the MLS at all. But I mean, if you want to grab a striker that can play a cam role
At number 10.
Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney is your answer.
Believe it or not, has the third most assists in the Premier League history.
He did that a lot as a striker
and he's one of my favorite players. I would love to bring in Wayne Rooney, but funny that we just brought up Lee Nguyen. Wayne Rooney would Wayne Rooney be a cam that we need? No,
he's not the exact same type either.
He's not the same exact type either.
He'd be a huge upgrade on Lee Nguyen.
He would be a huge upgrade, but I mean, you could
get him taking free kicks.
Yeah.
Good luck stopping him.
I think you could get by with a cam like Wayne Rooney. I mean, Wayne Rooney's he's going to work his butt off. He's going to provide opportunities to score goals.
He's going to link the midfield, and he's a workhorse.
He just worked. Yeah, he works so hard, and I mean, you really could line that up with Pauno's 4-2-3-1. Get two center mids that'll work. Wayne in front.
Wayne is getting older in the age, though. He's going, but he's still younger than Iker Casillas, who's 36. He's still younger than Fernando Torres, who's 34.
Wayne Rooney would tear up the MLS.
He would tear up the MLS, I still think. The one last player that has not been linked to MLS, in fact, he's been rumored to be going to China or to the Middle East, but is the dream of every MLS pundit out there, Alexi Lalas included. Andres Iniesta. If Nelson brought in Andres Iniesta, I would erase everything bad I've ever said about the guy. And I would say, wow, this guy might be a genius. No,
that is the type of player we need. When we said Lee Nguyen wouldn't really fit, when we said a Wayne Rooney might not really fit, Andres Iniesta,
the literal perfect player, is out there.
He can create by himself. He can create with the ball at his feet. He can create when the ball is given to him. Gosh, Iniesta really would be nice.
One of the knocks on him right now can he play a full 90? In La Liga, it's a bit harder to play him a full 90. I don't think he's going to have that problem in MLS. Does David Villa look like he's having that problem in MLS?
No. Especially when you pair him up with a couple center mids, like a Dax or a Mo or a Basti.
You put him with a class person with Basti, he won't miss as much of those Rakitic balls as he's been getting. Because Basti could fill so many more of the roles that a person on Barcelona could do.
This is interesting. If we do bring in like a number 10, a center attacking mid, with Basti just coming out of the back, and I think he's probably going to stay there, probably going to stay in the mid.
In the middle.
You can't drop Dax, you can't drop Basti. Does that mean you're going to drop Mo? So, James, if you brought in a center, a cam, would you drop Mo?
Well, then do you switch back to a 4-2-3-1? Do you drop the 4-3-3? Because the only reason you're playing a 4-3-3 is because you don't have a cam.
You still have Dax and Basti.
You need them out there.
Who are going to play.
Does Mo become a backup at that point?
Yeah.
Better backup than Chani. I mean...
don't get us started on Chani. What else? Any other names you got there, James?
Chani. Well, those are basically it for the names. So... That's what we have coming in. If anything is happening tomorrow, it's Lee Nguyen.
Yeah.
Or an international spot. If an international spot is happening, that still doesn't make me excited. In fact, it makes me very concerned. What are they going to do with that international spot? If they're saving for Iker Casillas or Fernando Torres, I know this team's going nowhere.
Yeah, it's very, very concerning. I think Chicago Fire have looked better the last couple matches.
Absolutely.
Starting to figure out a couple things. But if we wait to that summer transfer window, anything can happen, though. I mean, who knows?
We're essentially waiting for the July 10th summer window right now. We're waiting for it.
Yeah, and it's going to depend how our kids play. So, I mean, are we going to have to... I mean, I guess the answer is yes. We're going to have to keep relying on a Campos, a Collier, Baquero.
Time out. All three of those guys, by the way, if you sent them out on loan to Tulsa, would free up an international spot like that. So right now we have a question.
Adams, too, is an international spot.
Another international spot. These are all the assets acquired by Nelson that are actually now preventing us from acquiring assets, actual MLS players, actual top caliber players, such as the likes that TFC is doing. Look at what Toronto FC can do, where they could go bring in Ixte and they could go bring in a Gregory Vandervelde because they have all these young guns coming in from their youth squad.
Yeah.
The Fire have a loan affiliate that is not beholden to them, does not have to play any of their kids.
And it definitely
you don't get the benefits of having the same tactics.
The roster moves, it definitely hinders Nelson's ability to
until this team
the
gets
roster.
a second team, there is no
Yeah.
ambition. The ambition is fully lacking on this club, and it's hard to predict any championship aspirations for a team that just doesn't.
I agree with
have
you.
That.
I agree with you. Let's curtail back to what we're talking about here, to transfers. But I think going forward, James, if we don't bring in anyone tomorrow, what do you think we're going to see from here on out?
If we don't bring anyone tomorrow,
if we don't bring in anyone, what do you think you're going to keep seeing from Chicago Fire from here until that summer transfer window?
I'm going to see more of these middle of the road struggles. I don't think they're going to be bottom of the table. I think they'll be closer to the bottom than they're going to be to the top, but they're going to be a little bit in the middle. If that floats you until July 10th, until you could get someone with the quality of an Andres Iniesta in, because it's going to take someone with the quality of an Andres Iniesta in to get this team propelled. They're in trouble now.
At the same time,
Take it out
in the beginning of the year, Pano tried the 4-2-3-1. Didn't work. I think Pano finally is over this 5-3-2. Again, we just don't have the personnel. If we were going to continue with those two formations, and we can, Pano only had one game where he busted out that 4-3-3. So who knows if going forward if he's going to continue with that. But I really liked what I saw with that 4-3-3. If we're going to continue with that formation, I think we can salvage
some points.
And maybe by the time that summer window comes around,
July 10th,
we'll be in a position to bring in someone, make the playoffs, do something maybe Seattle did a couple years ago when they were struggling, brought some, hit July and then just took off.
Let's level the ambition of this team. Let's talk about the ambition, because if you're bringing in a Januzovic, is that ambitious enough to put this team over the top? It's a good player. It fills up a very good need. I don't think this team is
they're not
one or two core players away.
Unless it's an Iniesta.
I think this player is a premier player away from actually trying to compete. Because look at the likes of what you are competing with.
Yeah.
Look at what Toronto has at its toe, even when it's missing some of its best players.
Let's say best case scenario, you did bring in Iniesta, James. So you had Nico, Katai left. Let's say it's a 4-2-3-1. You have Iniesta as a cam, and then maybe you say you have Dax and Basti behind him. You're still a right winger short, but you'd like to think you'd be able to get by with it because you have Andres Iniesta in.
Yeah.
And so it's better to have one player playing out of position rather than two or three. So, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
But absolutely. That's a great point. So, I think that's about it. We're concerned.
It really depends on what this 4-3-3. If Pano rolls with this 4-3-3 and we can salvage things, we might be okay. If we see this 4-2-3-1 again,
we got some points against some of MLS best.
5-3-2 again, I'm going to say
We did get some points against some of MLS's best. However, one of MLS's best had to be worn down by 96 plus minutes of soccer.
It was incredible.
That played 3 days
incredible
before.
that we won that.
I'm talking about Toronto. We tied. Incredible that we tied it. In fact, but here's the thing. The Fire, when you watch that game from a close perspective, they actually had a lot of chances.
They're competitive.
They could have won. They could have actually won that game. But we're getting into...
or we'll move on. It really bugs me that Pano started with the 5-3-2.
If he doesn't start with the 5-3-2 and we start with the 4-3-3, we're taking all 3 points out of Toronto.
It really bugs me. But anyways, that's another episode.
That's another conversation. All in all, summing up, I really hope we make no moves going into tomorrow. I hope we don't bring in anything. I hope we don't bring in a win. I hope we don't bring in an international slot.
Or a surprise move that you're good with.
However, the question is, do you have to bring in an international slot now? Because there's only 6 left in the entire of all of MLS, and there's only going to be dwindling. Yeah. And the price is only going to be raising. So do you maybe invest in one now in the hopes that you could sign in a player? If you don't, trade it away?
Nelson doesn't know.
Nelson has no idea.
He has no idea what he's doing.
There's no idea what he's doing. If you're still pursuing a goalie and a striker for this team that we all see, then obviously he's not looking at the same team. He's not looking at the same team. I don't know what he's looking at. He might be looking at the Bulls. Because
what do the Bulls need?
It's not the Chicago Fire that he's looking at, thinking that they need a striker and that they need a goalkeeper when we have a striker who's a Golden Boot winner and a goalkeeper who's in his youth and coming on and putting in some clean sheet performances and getting into MLS sheets, MLS Player of the Weeks sheets.
He's been one of our better players. But let's end this.
But we'll end it there. So there it is. What do you guys hope for the transfer window? That's our question. Do you guys hope to see Ali win? Would you pony up $1 million?
Wayne Rooney.
Do you think it's worth it? Do you hold out for $750? Do you hold out for less? Maybe or do not get him at all? Do you aim for an international spot? Do you aim for one of these aging internationals? Or do you aim for a younger player like a Nevin Subotic, a center back from BVB, or a Chicharito, 29-year-old striker who's out of sorts with the West Ham, who I think would be the perfect.
Ooh, Chicharito.
If
we don't need Chich, but
if Nico wasn't
Chicago
here,
Fire branding or marketing can use.
They
Chich.
should have gotten Chicharito, but
or Carlos Vela.
Carlos Vela would have been a great signing for Chicago as
Carlos
well.
Vela.
But that's one last thing.
Yeah.
Chicago Fire, if they were thinking about anything, I think that they should bring in a Mexican international, an El Tri international. I think it is a slam dunk.
Why would they not? They've done it before. It packed the seats. He was a good player. But again, I don't know. It makes too sense.
It makes too much sense.
I don't know.
I don't think Guillermo Ochoa is actually an answer anymore with the emergence of with Sanchez. Maybe Sanchez puts himself in the name for being a El Tri future keeper and gets himself a call up in the future.
Still a lot to ask for. But anyways, guys, that's it.
We're getting too long here.
Yeah,
all right, guys, we'll shut it down. Have a great weekend. If you enjoyed the analysis, if you enjoyed the ideas, toss us a like. If you want to add to the conversation, toss your comments in below and subscribe for more Spitting Fire. We'll see you guys later.
See you guys.